Before we start, make sure that you are sitting in a comfortable position. Comfortable is the key word here, is the most important part. Now, if within that comfort you can do it with your spine straight, that's even better. A trick to do that is to put a few pillows under your sit bone so that your butt is elevated and your legs fall down, and that will naturally straighten your spine. If this is uncomfortable or too much for you, you can get a back jack or do it against the wall. Alright, let's get right into it. Most people think that meditation starts when you close your eyes, but I believe that it can start before that. So we can be in meditation right now. And one aspect of meditation is to notice. That doesn't mean that is the goal of meditation, but it's one aspect of it, and I believe it to be very important. So notice what it feels like to have your eyes open, what it feels like to be in this room, what it feels like to be you right now. And at your own pace, it can be right now, it can be in 10 seconds, it can even be in a minute. Whenever it feels right to you, you can go ahead and close your eyes. When you do so, notice what it feels like to be you, but with your eyes closed. Notice what it feels like to be you with your eyes closed, but now that a few seconds, maybe a minute has passed. Some of you might experience very strong differences between now and a minute ago. And some of you might experience something very subtle. If it's subtle, can you still notice it? Another aspect of the meditation practice is that it tends to get us a little bit more in touch with subtlety. What subtle things can you notice about what's happening with you right now? If you need a little guidance, what subtle things are happening in your body? Whenever you feel you scanned your body enough to catch those subtle things, what subtle things are happening in your emotions? Don't go there yet if you are still with your body and did not feel that you are done with that part. What subtle things would you label as uncomfortable? And when you're done, what subtle things would you label as comfortable about your experience right now? What subtle things would you change, if any, in your breath to make the experience of breathing more joyful or more pleasurable? Maybe deeper or slower. Maybe your mouth half open. Maybe it's your nose. Maybe it's sending the air to your belly instead of your chest, or vice versa. Spend a little bit of time becoming better at noticing the best way to breathe right now. Maybe it's even noticing the smell of the environment that you're in, which is a very subtle experience as you've been here for a while now. Maybe it's making a noise in your exhale. You don't have to, but you can. Notice the subtle experience of noticing the clothes touching your skin that you also had for a while and probably got used to them, forgot about them. And if you can, try not to move so that you don't feel it because you're moving, but because you are bringing the attention to the touch. Notice the subtlety of the places in your body that are in contact with something that is not your body. Chair, couch, floor. And as you're noticing that, notice the parts of your body that are not touching that. And notice the difference, the subtle difference between those two different experiences. And let's also notice the subtlety of all the noises within this seeming silence. It is likely that you are more connected to subtlety now. So if I ask you what it feels like to be you in this moment, maybe you have a little bit more clarity than a few minutes ago. The experience of being alive and aware that you are in this specific situation, unique and irrepeatable. With these specific people around you. This exact experience you're never going to have again. Of course, you're going to have others. But what does it feel like to have this one? And as I say that, are there any feelings that show up? By paying attention or acknowledging or even appreciating this specific experience, even if those feelings are subtle, maybe especially if they are subtle. Are there any feelings that are already there or that were already there, that by getting more in touch with subtlety and by hearing the word feelings, start crawling out, showing up? Are there any feelings that are there that want to show up, but somehow, consciously or not, you are not fully letting? You don't have to identify them if they are not already out, but maybe you identify that something wants to happen. And that maybe there is a part of you that automatically is blocking it from happening, even if you don't know how to stop that. Certain feelings might make us feel unsafe or too vulnerable, even within our own self, to our own eyes, even if no one knows. I'm not asking you to feel them or force them out. We're gently getting in touch with maybe some feelings that are asking for a little bit of attention. Here's another way of identifying what could be there. Are there any feelings that you have not felt in a long time. So you can identify them not by naming what's showing up, but by naming what hasn't showed up in a very long time. And maybe it's because that feeling or emotion wasn't really called for. But there is also the chance that it is because that is an uncomfortable emotion to feel. If you can identify an emotion that you have not felt in a long time, can you say it inside of yourself? And then see how your body subtly reacts. Maybe there's no charge at all. Like pressing a button to nowhere. But maybe something contracts or moves. Maybe a tear comes out. Or a giggle. Whatever feelings are there, whether you identify them or not, just a quick reminder that they are okay. They are there as a consequence of something that's happened or happening to you. The best part is we don't have to do anything with them. All we did was get a little bit closer. Make them feel more welcomed. And you might notice that by doing all of this, maybe you started holding your breath too tight. That's very common. That's okay. As you hear that, notice which parts of your breath are tight and free your breath again. Reconnect with it. Start breathing in a way that feels good once more. And if you want, you can also breathe into those places that we were just digging in. Now, what do I mean with that? Certain emotions are stuck somewhere, either in our body or in our emotional body. So see if you can identify where that is stuck. And take an inhale into that place. Every inhale generates a little bit of tension, and every exhale generates a little bit of release. Pretend each inhale is like a little magnet, generates tension in that place. And each exhale is a way of taking it out. Maybe something starts softening or moving. And if you didn't find anything at all, which is also okay, if there's any discomfort or pain anywhere in your body, whether it is emotional or not, you can do the same thing. You can breathe in there, pretending you have lungs, whatever that place is, even if it's your knee. Pretend you have lungs in your knee or in your ankle or in your nail. And breathe in there, whatever it is that there's tension. And with your exhale, release the tension and relax even a little bit more. We're getting close to the end. I don't want you to dismiss any of the feelings that you got closer to. I also don't want you to force anything out. So to finish, or before finishing, just make a mental note of what showed up. Maybe you can give yourself some homework for later, if it feels right. But noticing is already enough. I'm going to make silence for maybe 1 or 2 more minutes, just to let you finish your process at your own pace. Slowly bring your hands to your heart. Once again, notice what it feels like to do that. Feel it beating, keeping your body and your consciousness alive. Remember when your heart got really, really close to some other heart today in that beautiful hug. Pumping not only blood, but also joy and gratitude. Pumping love for the people that you love. Pumping love for yourself in the places in which that happens naturally and genuinely. And finish, take a minute to tap into the places in which you are genuinely grateful for, or the people that you are genuinely grateful for. If I ask, what are you grateful for right now? What shows up naturally? before we open our eyes, let's break the silence with 3 ums. You're going to notice how your body vibrates, which is interesting to say the least. It can also be pretty fun, and it can also be very pleasurable. It can also be other things. Let's see what shows up for you. A-U-M. A resonates in your chest, U in your throat, and M in your head. So exhale all the air that you have in your lungs right now. Take a deep inhale. One more time. Last one. Take a moment to notice how you're feeling, the little journey we all went through together. Maybe you liked it, maybe not. Maybe for moments you did, for others you didn't. But here we are. We landed, we arrived. And before opening your eyes, notice what it feels like to have your eyes closed. And as you're opening them, which can be at any moment, you can take all the time you want. Notice what it feels like to open them after you had them closed for however long this meditation lasted. Probably slightly over 20 minutes. For those of you who already opened your eyes, welcome back. I think this practice always reminds me that anytime I think I'm in a rush, there is nowhere to go, or wherever I want to go, I can go with meditation. So hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for going into that 30-minute journey with me. It always feels shorter than what it actually is.